All right, hey there, future global scholars. So you're thinking about studying abroad, right? Picturing yourself wandering through ancient university courtyards, debating big ideas in a new language, maybe even figuring out how laundry works in a different hemisphere. It's a thrilling prospect, an adventure in learning and life. But hold on, because just as you're packing your imaginary suitcase, a whole barrage of, well, let's call them stories, start flying your way. These aren't just harmless tales. They're myths, misconceptions, and sometimes outright fear-mongering statements that can cloud your judgment, sow seeds of doubt, and potentially derail one of the most enriching experiences of your life before you even apply for a passport. These myths, they're like those internet chain letters your aunt still forwards, persistent, often convincing, but usually, when you look closer, full of holes. They whisper that studying abroad is only for the super rich, or that you need to be a linguistic genius, or that you'll be hopelessly lost and alone. And the internet, bless its chaotic heart, can sometimes amplify these whispers into a deafening roar, making it incredibly difficult to distinguish fact from fiction. It's a whirlwind of information, and if you're not careful, you might find yourself believing things that simply aren't true, things that could prevent you from taking an incredible leap. But that's why we're here today. Welcome to our myth-busting extravaganza, where we're going to take a metaphorical sledgehammer to the most common, most misleading, and frankly, most annoying myths about international education. We believe that big decisions like where and how to pursue your education should be built on a foundation of solid facts, not shaky assumptions or scary bedtime stories. Our mission today is to arm you with clarity, to cut through the noise, and to show you that the path to studying abroad might be far more accessible and manageable than you've been led to believe. So buckle up, because over the next little while, we're diving deep into the top 7 myths that every prospective international student absolutely needs to know about. We're not just going to tell you they're wrong, we're going to show you they're wrong, providing you with the insights, the information, and hopefully, the inspiration to make smart, confident decisions for your academic journey and, dare I say, your entire future. Let's get started, because your amazing global adventure deserves a fact-based launchpad. Okay, let's tackle the big one right out of the gate. Myth number 1. Studying abroad is just too expensive. A pursuit reserved for those with trust funds and gold-plated textbooks. You hear it all the time, don't you? The astronomical tuition fees that seem to stretch into infinity, the crippling living costs in foreign lands, the eye-watering price of plane tickets, the mysterious void of insurance payments. It all adds up to a mental image of your bank account screaming in terror. This perception isn't just a minor concern. For many bright, ambitious students, it's the Great Wall of Nope, a seemingly insurmountable financial barrier that stops their dreams dead in their tracks. And it's an understandable fear, truly. We see portrayals in media, hear anecdotal stories perhaps about someone who attended an incredibly exclusive, high-cost program in a notoriously expensive city. These narratives, while sometimes true for specific cases, can inadvertently paint the entire landscape of international education with the same gold-plated brush. The human brain is also wired to react strongly to large numbers, and when you see tuition figures from certain countries or institutions without the full context of scholarships, funding options, or regional cost variations, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and conclude, well, that's not for me. This financial anxiety is potent. But here's the thing, and it's a really important thing. While some study abroad experiences be incredibly pricey, the sweeping generalization that international study is prohibitively expensive is, quite simply, not accurate. It's like saying all restaurants are 5-star Michelin establishments. You know there are fantastic, affordable local eateries too, right? The world of international education is vast and varied, offering a spectrum of financial commitments. Thinking it's universally out of reach is like judging an entire library by its most expensive first edition. We need to look beyond the sticker shock of the most publicized options. The reality is that affordability in studying abroad isn't solely about the depth of your pockets, but much more about the depth of your research and the cleverness of your strategy. It's about understanding that expensive is relative and that value can be found in many forms. The landscape of global education is diverse, with numerous pathways and financial mechanisms designed to make it accessible. So before you let that financial monster under the bed convince you to give up, let's shine a bright light on the actual costs and, more importantly, the ways to manage them effectively. So, how do we dismantle this too expensive myth piece by piece? Well, let's start with the magic word scholarships. And no, these aren't just mythical treasures reserved for a handful of child prodigies who cured diseases before breakfast. There are countless scholarships out there offered by governments, universities, private foundations, and even alumni associations, specifically for international students. These can range from full-ride scholarships covering tuition and living expenses to smaller grants that help chip away at the costs. They can be merit-based, need-based, country-specific, subject-specific. The variety is astounding, and many go unclaimed simply because students don't know they exist or don't think they'll qualify. Next up in our Affordability Toolkit, the humble part-time job. Many popular study destinations actually permit international students to work a certain number of hours per week during their studies and sometimes full-time during breaks. This isn't just about earning money to cover your ramen noodle budget or your weekend explorations, though that's certainly a huge plus. Working part-time provides invaluable real-world experience, helps you integrate into the local culture, improves your language skills in a practical setting, and can even lead to networking opportunities that could be beneficial post-graduation. It's a fantastic way to supplement your finances while enriching your overall experience. Then there's the game-changer choosing cost-effective countries. Not all countries come with a luxury price tag for higher education. For instance, did you know that public universities in countries like Germany offer tuition-free education to both domestic and international students for many programs, particularly at the bachelor's and master's levels? Yes, you read that right, free or very low tuition. Norway is another excellent example. While living costs still need to be covered, removing hefty tuition fees from the equation dramatically alters the financial landscape. This isn't a scam, it's often a result of government investment in accessible education as a public good. And finally, in this digital age, you're not alone in navigating this financial maze. There are amazing tools and resources designed to help you. For example, apps like Mobeeco are specifically built to assist students in finding and applying for scholarships, comparing tuition fees and living costs across different universities and countries in real time, and generally making the whole financial planning process much more transparent and manageable. By leveraging such platforms, you can move from feeling overwhelmed by perceived costs to being empowered by actual data and actionable strategies, making that dream of studying abroad a well-planned financial reality. Alright, let's move on to myth number 2, a real source of anxiety for many non-native English speakers, the belief that you need absolutely perfect, flawless, practically Shakespearean scores on English proficiency tests like IELTS or TOEFL to even dream of studying abroad. The fear is palpable. My grammar isn't perfect, my accent is too strong, what if I freeze during the speaking test? This worry can be a massive psychological barrier, making the application process seem like an insurmountable linguistic Everest. Good language skills are, of course, important. You need to understand lectures, write essays, and participate in discussions, but the emphasis on perfect is where the myth really takes hold. Universities require these test scores for a very practical reason. They need some assurance that you'll be able to cope with the academic demands of a program taught in English. It's not about gatekeeping or linguistic snobbery, it's about setting students up for success rather than struggle. If you can't follow a fast-paced lecture or articulate your thoughts in a seminar, your learning experience will be compromised, and that's the last thing anyone wants. So, these tests serve as a standardized measure, albeit an imperfect one, of your ability to navigate an academic environment using English. The intention is fundamentally supportive, even if the process feels daunting. However, the pressure surrounding these exams can be immense. Students often feel that their entire academic future, their chance to study in their dream country, hinges precariously on achieving a specific, often very high band score or point total. They invest significant time, money, and emotional energy into preparation, sometimes taking the tests multiple times. This focus on a single numerical outcome can overshadow the broader goal of effective communication, and can lead to a lot of stress and self-doubt if the desired perfect score isn't immediately achieved. The myth here is that anything less than stellar is an automatic disqualification. But here's where we start to dismantle that pressure. While strong English proficiency is undeniably crucial for a successful academic experience abroad, the notion that you need perfect scores as an absolute, non-negotiable entry ticket is often an overstatement. The reality is that many universities understand that language skills are not static. they evolve and improve, especially with immersion. There's often more flexibility and a greater range of pathways available than students initially realize. The idea of a rigid, unforgiving system demanding linguistic perfection from day one simply doesn't capture the full picture of international admissions. So what happens if your IELTS or TOEFL scores are good, but perhaps not quite hitting that top-tier benchmark some programs list? Does the door slam shut? Not necessarily. Many universities offer something called conditional admission. This essentially means they like your academic profile. They see your potential, but they want you to boost your English skills a bit more before you dive into your degree program. This often involves enrolling in an intensive English language program, sometimes run by the university itself or an affiliated institution, for a semester or a year before you begin your formal academic coursework. Another fantastic option, closely related to conditional admission, is the rise of pathway programs. These are specifically designed for international students who need a bit of a bridge to full degree entry. Pathway programs often combine English language instruction with foundational academic courses relevant to your chosen field of study. This dual approach not only improves your language proficiency in an academic context, but also helps you acclimatize to the teaching style, academic culture, and expectations of the university system in your host country. It's a structured, supportive route that eases you into your main degree. The key takeaway here is that universities are generally looking for students who demonstrate the to succeed, and they recognize that language proficiency can be developed. Good and functional language skills are the goal, not necessarily native-level perfection right from the start. Many institutions are more interested in your overall academic record, your motivation, and what you can bring to their community, and they are willing to provide avenues for you to get your English up to the required standard if it's not quite there yet. It's about demonstrating commitment and a willingness to improve. And of course, let's not forget the power of targeted preparation. If you are aiming for direct entry and want to improve your scores, strategic study can make a huge difference. This doesn't mean just mindlessly doing practice tests, but understanding the structure of the exam, working on specific skill areas, like academic vocabulary or essay structure, and perhaps even taking a preparation course. The point is that you have agency. You can actively work to improve your scores, and there are resources available to help you. The myth of needing perfect scores often crumbles when faced with proactive preparation and an understanding of the diverse admission pathways available. Alright, let's dive into another one of those persistent, slightly intimidating myths that hangs around the idea of studying abroad like a particularly stubborn cloud. Myth number 3. You have to be some kind of academic superhero, a straight-A savant, a veritable Hermione Granger minus the time-turner, to even about packing your bags for an international university. The perception is that studying abroad is a gilded cage, reserved only for the intellectual elite. Those who were probably acing calculus while the rest of us were still figuring out how to tie our shoelaces. But is this really the case? Is the global academic stage only set for the valedictorians and the prodigies? Or is this another example of us building up an idea to be far more exclusive than it actually is, creating a kind of velvet rope where none truly exists? The very notion of a top student can be frankly a bit nebulous, can't it? When we say top student, what are we actually picturing? Is it solely about that gleaming GPA, the perfect standardized test scores, the person who always has their hand up in class? While academic achievement is, of course, valued, universities, especially those with a vibrant international community, are increasingly looking for a much broader spectrum of qualities. They're searching for curiosity, for resilience, for a genuine passion for learning, for the courage to step outside one's comfort zone. These are traits that don't always neatly correlate with a flawless transcript. Sometimes the student who struggled and overcame is far more interesting and potentially impactful than the one for whom everything came effortlessly. This myth, the only top student's fallacy, can be incredibly discouraging, can't it? It plants a seed of doubt in the minds of countless capable, enthusiastic individuals who might otherwise flourish in an international setting. They hear this, they internalize it, and they think, well, that's not me. I got a B in history that one time, and suddenly a world of opportunity seems to slam shut. It creates an artificial barrier, a self-imposed limitation based on a misunderstanding of what global education truly values. It's like thinking you can't go to an art museum unless you're Picasso. The museum and the university is richer for having a diverse audience, a diverse student body with varied perspectives and experiences. The reality is that universities around the world are actively seeking to build dynamic, multifaceted communities. They understand that innovation and understanding don't just spring from a homogeneous group of students who all think and perform in exactly the same way. They're looking for individuals who bring different strengths, different backgrounds, and yes, different academic profiles to the table. A student with a slightly less than perfect academic record but a compelling personal story, a unique skill set, or a demonstrated commitment to a particular field might be seen as an incredibly valuable addition. So, let's dismantle this top student pedestal and look at the broader picture of what makes a successful international student. So, if it's not just about being a top student in the traditional sense, then what's the alternative? How do universities accommodate the vast, wonderful spectrum of human intellect and experience? Well, it turns out they're pretty good at it, largely through what we call pathway programs. Think of these as thoughtfully constructed bridges, designed to help students transition smoothly into a new academic environment or to bolster specific skills before they dive into a full degree program. These aren't remedial courses for the not good enough. They are strategic stepping stones for the ambitious and the adaptable, recognizing that potential comes in many forms and sometimes just needs a little cultivation or a different approach to truly blossom. These pathway programs can take various forms. You might find foundation years that provide a solid grounding in the core subjects relevant to your chosen degree, especially if your previous education system differs significantly from that of your host country. There are pre-master's or pre-PhD programs designed to hone research skills or bring you up to speed with advanced academic expectations. And of course, there are intensive language programs that ensure you're not just linguistically competent, but truly confident in an academic setting where a different language is the medium of instruction. These pathways acknowledge that talent isn't one size fits all and that a little tailored support can unlock a whole universe of capability. Beyond these structured pathways, there's also the immense power of demonstrating genuine motivation and a clear sense of purpose. Your personal essay, your statement of intent, your interview, these are opportunities to showcase who you are beyond the numbers. A compelling narrative about why you want to study a particular subject, why in that specific country, and what you hope to achieve can often speak volumes more than an extra point on a GPA. Universities are looking for students who are invested, who are driven by more than just a desire for a degree, but by a real hunger for knowledge and a vision for their future. Passion is a powerful currency in the world of international admissions. Ultimately, the journey to studying abroad is less about achieving some mythical standard of perfection and more about being well-prepared, deeply passionate, and resiliently adaptable. It's about your willingness to engage, to learn from new perspectives, to contribute to a diverse community, and to grow both academically and personally. Universities are looking for potential, for individuals who will make the most of the opportunities offered. So, banish the thought that you need to be an academic demigod. Instead, focus on your strengths, articulate your goals, and explore the many avenues available to help you reach your international education aspirations, because they are far more accessible than you might think. All right, let's tackle a big one. An emotional Everest that looms large in the imagination of many aspiring international students. Myth number 4, you'll be overwhelmingly, debilitatingly homesick and utterly, irrevocably lonely. This is a potent fear, isn't it? The thought of being thousands of miles from your family, your friends, your favorite brand of breakfast cereal, the familiar rhythm of your life. It's enough to make anyone pause. And let's be clear, homesickness is real. It's a completely natural human response to being uprooted from everything comfortable and familiar and transplanted into a new, sometimes bewildering environment. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign you're, well, human. The tendrils of homesickness can wrap around more than just missing specific people. It's often a longing for the mundane, the everyday comforts you never realized were so comforting until they were gone. It could be the smell of your mom's cooking, the specific way the light falls in your bedroom in the afternoon, the easy banter with your local barista, or even just understanding all the cultural in-jokes without a second thought. This isn't just about physical distance, it's about an emotional and cultural recalibration, a sense of being slightly out of sync with your surroundings, at least initially. And this can be a profound and sometimes unsettling experience for anyone, regardless of how adventurous they are. This fear of profound loneliness and unshakable homesickness can be a significant deterrent, a formidable psychological barrier that prevents many talented individuals from even considering the enriching experience of studying abroad. It can overshadow all the exciting academic prospects, the cultural adventures, the personal growth, because the imagined pain of isolation feels too great a risk. The narrative we sometimes tell ourselves is one of desolate dorm rooms and solitary meals, a stark contrast to the vibrant, connected life we envision leaving behind. And when that fear takes root, it can be very difficult to dislodge, making the dream of international studies seem more like a potential nightmare. But here's the crucial distinction. Acknowledging the reality of homesickness is not the same as surrendering to the myth that it will define your entire experience or that you'll be utterly alone in navigating it. Yes, there will likely be moments of longing, of feeling a bit adrift. That's part of the journey, part of the stretching and growing that comes with such a significant life change. However, framing this as an insurmountable constant state of misery is where the myth truly takes hold and does a disservice to the robust support systems and incredible opportunities for connection that await students who take the leap. It's a challenge, not a full stop. So, how do you combat this looming specter of loneliness and homesickness? Well, the good news is, you're not expected to go it alone, armed with nothing but a stiff upper lip and a data plan for video calls. Universities, particularly those that welcome a large international cohort, are incredibly well versed in the art of helping students adjust and feel at home. They've seen it all before, they understand the anxieties, and they've developed a whole toolkit of resources specifically designed to ease the transition. They are in essence in the business of creating communities, not just lecture halls. Think about the infrastructure in place. Dedicated international student offices are your first port of call, staffed by people whose entire job is to support you, from visa queries to cultural adjustment tips. Orientation programs are often meticulously planned, not just to show you where the library is, but to introduce you to fellow students, to the local culture, and to the support services available. Many universities offer counseling and mental health services, providing a safe space to talk about any anxieties or feelings of isolation. Academic advisors, too, are often sensitive to the unique pressures faced by international students, and can offer guidance that extends beyond just coursework. And then there's the incredible power of the student community itself. This is where the magic really happens. Universities are teeming with clubs and societies catering to almost every imaginable interest, from chess clubs to hiking societies, from film appreciation groups to entrepreneurial incubators, from cultural associations celebrating your home country to those that immerse you in the traditions of your host nation. Joining these groups is not just about pursuing a hobby, it's about finding your tribe, people who share your passions, your curiosity, or even just your desire to try something new. These become the building blocks of your new social life. Perhaps most importantly, you'll quickly realize you're not the only one navigating this new world. You'll be surrounded by other international students who are on the exact same journey, experiencing similar excitements and anxieties. This shared experience creates an incredibly powerful bond, a fast track to friendship and mutual support. Local students too are often eager to connect, to share their culture, and to learn about yours. Building a new home away from home is an active process of reaching out, of saying yes to new experiences, and of understanding that connection is a two-way street. The opportunities are there, it's about embracing them. Okay, let's talk about something that can make even the most enthusiastic prospective students' hearts sink a little. Myth number 5. The visa process is just too darn complicated. It's often portrayed as this bureaucratic behemoth, a labyrinth of forms, arcane requirements, and anxiety-inducing interviews, designed to thwart your international dreams at the earliest possible stage. And let's be honest, when you first look at a list of visa requirements, with its officialese and demands for various notarized documents and proof of financial solvency, it feels incredibly intimidating. It's like being handed the instruction manual for assembling a space shuttle when all you wanted was a plane ticket. This anxiety isn't unfounded. The stakes feel high, don't they? A mistake on a form, a missing document, a misunderstood instruction, it can feel like your entire academic future hangs in the balance. There's the fear of the unknown, especially if you've never navigated such a formal application process before. You're dealing with government agencies, with strict rules and deadlines, and the potential for rejection, however small, looms large in the imagination. It's a process that demands precision and patience, qualities that can sometimes feel in short supply when you're also juggling academic applications, exams, and the general excitement and stress of planning a major life change. Adding to this perceived complexity is the fact that every country has its own unique set of visa regulations, its own specific forms, and its own processing timelines. What works for a student visa to Canada might be completely different for one to Germany or Australia. This means there's no one-size-fits-all guide, and the sheer volume of information you might need to sift through can be overwhelming. The language used in official documents can be dense and legalistic, making it easy to misinterpret a crucial detail. It's no wonder that many students, and their families, look at the visa requirements and feel a wave of this is just too much trouble wash over them. And the unfortunate consequence of this intimidation factor is that it can act as a powerful deterrent, sometimes causing students to abandon their study abroad aspirations before they've even fully explored the academic opportunities available to them. The visa hurdle can seem so high that the dream on the other side feels unattainable. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's too complicated, so I won't even try, thus ensuring the complication, real or perceived, wins out. But what if we reframe complicated not as impossible, but as requiring a methodical approach and the right support? That changes the picture quite a bit, doesn't it? So, yes, the visa process can appear daunting, a veritable Medusa of paperwork capable of turning your enthusiasm to stone. But here's the crucial counterpoint. Complicated does not mean insurmountable. It means it requires careful planning, meticulous attention to detail, and most importantly, accessing the right information and support. Millions of students successfully navigate these processes every single year. They aren't all superhuman bureaucratic wizards. They are individuals who broke the process down into manageable steps and sought out the guidance available to them. The path might be winding, but it is most certainly walkable. The first step in demystifying the visa journey is to understand that you are not expected to figure everything out in a vacuum. University international student offices are often your primary allies in this quest. They typically provide detailed checklists, timelines, and advice tailored to students from your country applying to theirs. The official websites of the embassy or consulate of your destination country, while sometimes dense, are the authoritative source of information. Read everything carefully, then read it again. It's about transforming that mountain of information into a sequential to-do list, tackling one item at a time rather than being overwhelmed by the whole. And this is where resources designed to simplify your life, like our friends at Mobeeco, can be incredibly valuable. Imagine having a tool that helps you keep track of your visa application status, reminds you of crucial deadlines, and provides clear, easy-to-understand checklists. Mobeeco aims to do just that, streamlining the information flow and reducing the administrative burden. Furthermore, they can help connect you with experienced visa consultants or immigration experts who can offer personalized step-by-step guidance, answering your specific questions and ensuring your application is as strong and complete as possible. This kind of support can transform the process from a solo struggle into a guided journey. Ultimately, securing a student visa is a critical step, a gateway to your international education. While it demands diligence and organization, it's a process that has been successfully completed by countless students before you. By starting early, staying organized, meticulously following instructions, and leveraging the support systems available, from your university to platforms like Mobeeco, you can navigate this bureaucratic landscape. Think of it not as an obstacle designed to stop you, but as the first official welcome, the first stamp in a passport that's about to get a lot more interesting. It's manageable, it's doable, and the rewards on the other side are well worth the effort. Alright, let's dive into another one of those pervasive study abroad anxieties, a real classic myth number 6, the idea that once you're an international student, your financial life grinds to a halt. The narrative goes something like this: you're there to study and only study. Your bank account will only ever see outflows, a relentless drain of funds for tuition, rent, and the occasional guilt-ridden slice of local pizza. This myth often stems from a partial understanding of student visas, which are, quite rightly, primarily focused on your academic pursuits. But this focus doesn't necessarily translate into a blanket ban on earning a little something on the side. a misconception that can unfortunately deter many brilliant minds from even considering this life-changing adventure. But here's the good news, the myth-busting truth bomb, if you will. For many, many international students, this no-work scenario is just that, a myth. A significant number of popular study abroad destinations actually permit international students to take on part-time employment. We're talking about countries that understand that students are, human beings who sometimes need to buy things. Typically, this might be around 20 hours per week during academic sessions, and often full-time during scheduled breaks. This isn't some hidden loophole, it's a recognized, often formalized part of the international student experience designed to make studying abroad more accessible and sustainable for a wider range of people. So, the image of the perpetually broke student, it's often an exaggeration. Now, why is this so important? Well, beyond the obvious, like being able to afford more than instant noodles, though that's a definite plus, working part-time offers a significant degree of financial independence. It means you can contribute to your living expenses, perhaps even save a little, or explore your new surroundings without constantly worrying about every single penny. This drastically reduces the financial pressure, lessening the reliance on hefty loans or extensive family support. It allows you to breathe a little easier, to immerse yourself more fully in the experience, knowing you have some agency in managing your finances. It's about transforming from a passive recipient of education to an active participant in your new life, finances and all. And think about it from the host country's perspective. Why would they allow this? It's not just an act of altruism, though it certainly helps students. It's a pragmatic and often mutually beneficial arrangement. International students who work part-time contribute to the local economy. They pay taxes, they spend money in local businesses. They often fill essential part-time roles that domestic students or workers might not be as readily available for. Furthermore, it allows these students to gain practical skills and integrate more deeply into the local culture, which can lead to a more positive overall experience and even long-term contributions if they decide to stay post-graduation. It's a smart symbiotic relationship. So, what kind of work are we talking about here? Is it all just washing dishes in a dimly lit restaurant back room like some Dickensian novel? Not necessarily, though hospitality jobs are certainly an option, and can be great for practicing language skills. The range of part-time jobs available to international students is often surprisingly diverse. On-campus opportunities are plentiful. Think library assistant, research aide for a professor, helping out in administrative offices, or even becoming a campus tour guide. Off-campus, the possibilities expand further into retail, customer service, tutoring in your native language or a subject you excel in, barista gigs in cool local cafes, or even freelance work if your visa conditions and skills allow. The key is to explore and be open. But here's where it gets really interesting, and where this myth-busting becomes truly empowering. Working part-time while studying abroad isn't just about the paycheck, however welcome that might be, it's about the you gain. We're talking about developing crucial soft skills like communication, teamwork, problem-solving in a new cultural context, and time management. Oh, the glorious crucible of balancing studies and work. You're also getting a first-hand look at the local work culture, which can be vastly different from your home country, and building a professional network that could be incredibly beneficial down the line. This kind of experience is gold on your resume. Of course, the thought of juggling lectures, assignments, a social life, a part-time job can seem daunting. And it's true, effective time management becomes your superpower. But remember, universities are often aware of this balancing act. Many provide resources, workshops, or counseling on how to manage your schedule effectively. Plus, the restrictions on working hours, like that 20-hour per week cap during term time, are specifically in place to ensure that your studies remain your primary focus. It's designed to supplement your student life, not supplant your academic responsibilities. It's about finding that sustainable rhythm that works for you and your educational goals. Ultimately, the opportunity to work part-time can profoundly enrich your study abroad journey. It transforms the experience from a purely academic endeavor into a more holistic, real-world immersion. You're not just learning in the classroom, you're learning in the community, in the workplace, interacting with locals in a different capacity. This adds a rich layer of practical learning, cultural understanding, and personal growth that you simply can't get from textbooks alone. It's about building confidence, independence, and a richer, more nuanced understanding of your host country, all while earning a bit of cash. Okay, let's tackle the final behemoth of myths, the one that looms large as graduation approaches. Myth number 7, the dreaded no job after graduation fear. This is the anxiety that whispers, you'll spend all this time, money and effort getting a fantastic international education, only to be politely shown the door of your host country the moment you toss your graduation cap in the air. The vision is one of packing your bags, degree in hand, with no clear path forward in the country you've come to know, perhaps even love. This fear is understandable. After all, navigating international job markets can seem like a Herculean task, especially when visa statuses are involved. But deep breaths, everyone, because here comes the mythbuster. Many of the most popular study abroad destinations aren't just interested in educating international students, they're also keen on retaining talented graduates. Enter the magical phrase, post-study work permits, or PSWs. These are special visas or extensions that allow eligible international students to stay in the country for a certain period after graduation to search for and engage in employment. Countries like Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, Germany, New Zealand and Ireland, among others, have established PSW pathways. This isn't a secret handshake deal, it's a formal, often well-publicized opportunity for graduates to gain work experience. Now, why do these countries offer such opportunities? Is it purely out of the goodness of their hearts? Well, hospitality and welcome are certainly part of it, but there are also strong pragmatic reasons. These nations have invested in your education, and allowing you to work post-graduation means they can potentially benefit from the skills and knowledge you've acquired. You, as a freshly minted graduate, represent a pool of talent that can contribute to their economy, fill skilled labor shortages, and bring diverse perspectives to their workforce. It's a strategic move to attract and retain global talent, fostering innovation and economic growth. It's a win-win situation, really. So, what do these post-study work permits typically entail? The specifics vary from country to country: the duration of the permit, the eligibility criteria, the type of work you can undertake. Some might offer a year, others 2 or even more, depending on your level of study or field. Generally, they provide a crucial window of opportunity to find skilled employment relevant to your studies and potentially transition to a longer-term work visa. It's not an automatic guarantee of permanent residency, but it's an incredibly valuable bridge, a chance to launch your career in an international setting and gain that all-important initial work experience in a global context. But let's expand our thinking beyond just the host country. The value of your international education and any subsequent work experience isn't confined by national borders. The skills and perspectives you gain from studying abroad are highly prized by employers, including back in your home country. Think about it. You've successfully navigated a new culture, possibly a new language, different academic systems, and demonstrated immense adaptability, resilience, and cross-cultural communication skills. These aren't just buzzwords. They are tangible assets in today's interconnected global economy. You've proven you can thrive in unfamiliar environments, and that speaks volumes. This international experience often gives graduates a significant competitive edge in the job market wherever they choose to apply. Employers are increasingly looking for candidates who bring a broader perspective, who can think globally and work effectively with diverse teams. Your study abroad experience is a clear differentiator on your resume. It signals initiative, a willingness to step outside your comfort zone, and an ability to embrace new challenges, qualities that are universally sought after. It's not just about the degree, it's about the person you've become through that transformative international journey, a person equipped with a unique set of global competencies. Certain sectors and industries particularly value the unique skill set that international graduates bring. Multinational corporations, for example, are always on the lookout for talent that can navigate different cultural contexts and understand global market dynamics. Fields like international relations, diplomacy, global health, sustainable development, technology, which is inherently global, and academic research also highly regard candidates with international exposure. If your career aspirations lie in these areas, or any field with an international dimension, your time spent studying and potentially working abroad can be a massive advantage, opening doors that might otherwise remain closed. So far from being a dead end, graduating after studying abroad can be the beginning of an incredibly exciting global career path. It's an investment that pays dividends in terms of personal growth, expanded worldview, and enhanced employability. The myth of no job after graduation crumbles when you consider the post-study work options and the inherent value employers place on international experience. It's about equipping yourself with the tools, the mindset, and the qualifications to not just find a job, but to build a truly global future, full of possibilities you might not even be able to envision right now. It's about expanding your horizons, quite literally. Phew! We've journeyed through a veritable labyrinth of myths today, haven't we? We've confronted the towering specter of studying abroad is too expensive, wrestled with the anxiety of you need perfect language scores, and stared down the fear of you'll be homesick and lonely. We've also debunked the notion that the visa process is too complicated, that you can't work while studying, and finally, the pervasive worry of no job after graduation. These narratives, these myths, can feel like insurmountable fortresses, each one designed to keep your adventurous spirit locked away. But as we've seen, they are often just stories, built on partial truths or outdated information, not the unshakable realities they pretend to be. The truth is, the incredible horizon-expanding, life-altering experience of studying abroad is far more achievable than you might think. That dream of immersing yourself in a new culture, of challenging your intellect in a different academic environment, of forging friendships that span continents, it's not some whimsical fantasy reserved for a privileged few or the extraordinarily brave. It's a tangible goal, reachable with diligent research, careful planning, and crucially the right support and tools. Don't let these busted myths hold you back from exploring what could be. Studying abroad is more accessible than ever, especially when you have a guide like Mobeeco ready to navigate the complexities with you, turning daunting challenges into manageable steps. So if this journey of myth-busting has ignited a spark within you, if you're feeling that pull of curiosity, that stirring of ambition to see what the world of international education holds, then now is the moment to take that first step. And this is where Mobeeco steps in, designed to be your trusted companion on this adventure. Ready to start your study abroad journey with confidence? Download Mobeeco to compare consultancies, find scholarships, meticulously upload your documents, and track all your applications, all in one streamlined, user-friendly place. Think of it as your personal mission control for launching your academic voyage, helping you navigate from dream to departure with clarity and ease. And hey, if you found this myth-busting session helpful, or even just mildly entertaining, do us a solid and hit that like button, subscribe for more insights, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a tip or a debunking. Your engagement truly helps us create more content designed to empower you on your educational journey. Got more questions? Are there other study abroad myths you want us to tackle? Drop them in the comments below. We read them, and we'll be sure to address them in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and here's to your future wherever in the world it may take you.